Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is an episode of How I Would Have Booked. On this episode, we're going to tackle Kane's 1998 WWF Championship run. Now if you remember, it was only a one-night event. He won it at King of the Ring 1998 and then lost it back to Steve Austin the next night. This comes to us as recommended from our friend Thomas Mueller. Thomas, I'm going to go at this for you, man. See if I can do it a little bit better than what they did. Now, the way they did it back in the Attitude Era, they had quick title changes like this, so this wasn't out of the norm. But we have a character here, Keene, who was less than a year into the Kane character. So I feel like they could have used this more to build him, to make him more of the monster that we would eventually see him become. So we're going to start off at the starting point. King of the Ring, 1998. Kane versus Steve Austin, first blood match. I'm going to keep it exactly the same way they did it. I'm going to have Undertaker hitting Austin with the chair. I'm going to have Austin getting blood. I'm going to have Kane winning it, surprisingly. Keep that way because I like that angle. I like the fact that we kind of see Undertaker and Kane working together. So that'll come more into my story. But from then on, we're going totally different. Instead of Monday night, Austin goading Kane into defending the title again, McMahon comes out and says, nope, no way. The title is not going to be on the line tonight. It's going to be the next title defense is at Fully Loaded in Your House. And it's going to be Kane versus the two guys that put on a crazy Hell in a Cell match last night, Undertaker and Mankind. And Austin, if you want in, you have to beat The Undertaker tonight. So, main event of Monday Night Raw, Austin beats The Undertaker, leading us up to Fully Loaded in Your House, which was still an In Your House at the time. A Fatal 4-Way match. Austin gets into the Fatal 4-Way. You got Kane versus Austin, Taker, and Mankind. We had at the time, Kane and Mankind had a somewhat of a tag team faction formed. So, we're going to play off that a little bit. Except for here, Austin stuns Mankind to end the match. He's about to get the pin. Kane pulls him off, chokeslams Austin, and pins Mankind instead of Austin. So we're starting to see a little bit of a rift between Mankind and Kane, where they're going their separate routes, which leads us to the next night on Raw. Now, if you remember, if you were around back then, this was the episode where, in real life, Undertaker attacked I believe it was Mankind, dressed as Kane. So we're going to keep it the same way. I'm going to keep it, and I spoiled myself a bit there, but I'm going to have Kane beating up Mankind, who was going to be the number one contender, which leads us to, instead of that, we're going to have, it was going to be Austin versus Mankind for the number one contender match at the later on Raw, but we see Kane beat up Mankind backstage, which has us, Vince McMahon says, okay, since Kane did this, we're going to have Austin versus Undertaker. We can't have Kane as a champion. Kane's an even worse champion than Austin. You know, if I have to kill the demon with my worst enemy, I will. So we have Austin versus Taker for the main event for the number one contender match. Austin picks up the win. We see the wedge is growing even more between Mankind and Kane. Mankind turns heel basically and joins in with McMahon and starts a little bit of a feud on TV, which leads us to we have that going for a couple weeks leading up to SummerSlam, where the two matches on SummerSlam, the double main event is Taker versus Mankind, Austin versus Kane. But the week before, on the August 22nd episode of Raw, we get the big reveal. GTV, which if you guys remember GTV, would reveal stuff storyline-wise, finally reveals after a month and a half that Undertaker was the one dressed as Kane. We see him walk away and take off the mask after the beatdown. So now we have a little bit of a weird dichotomy. This is what's going to set up the rematch, Undertaker versus Mankind, and Austin versus Kane for the World Heavyweight Championship as the dual main event for SummerSlam. I have Austin wins the match against Kane. However, Kane's foot was under the ropes. The next night we go to Raw. Vince McMahon strips Austin the title because he won it with Kane's foot being under the ropes. And I know Vince was kind of all over the place, so I'm keeping him all over the place in here. This setting up a three-way dance for later that night on Raw, where Kane wrestles Undertaker and Mankind. Again, Vince is trying to steer the title to Mankind or the Undertaker. Doesn't necessarily want Austin as a champion, but he'll take him if he can. He wants to get the belt from Kane, but he figured, in fairness, Kane is in this three-way. Kane wins, basically instantly gets the title back. And I know I was going to say it was going to be his first run, but technically his first two runs if we do it my way. Sue me. He gets the title back here on Monday Night Raw, setting up his second run, which leads us to a match at Breakdown in Your House, a Falls Count Anywhere match versus Mankind. He picks up the win, beats Mankind, which keeps us going into Judgment Day, the next In Your House. And in that In Your House, we have Kane wrestling Mankind. This time, instead of it being a Falls Count Anywhere match, they decide, okay, we've got you what you needed. Kane refused to fight him again unless it was an Inferno match. So at Judgment Day, In Your House, Kane beats Mankind in the Inferno match, keeps it going. Kane's rolling here, a couple months he's had the title. Leads us into Survivor Series. The whole time in the background, The Rock is steadily gaining steam. As we've seen in real life, towards the end of '98, Rock was hitting his stride, and he was about to become the corporate champion. So we see here, we have the face Rock, and I guess you could say face Kane, are set to match up at Survivor Series for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kane throws the rocks in the ropes, accidentally hits the ref goes down. Mankind and Vince McMahon run down to the ring. Looks like they're going to attack The Rock. Looks like it might be that they're turning on him and helping Kane. Or they all turn, The Rock turns, Rock and Mankind beat up Kane, lay him out. Mankind puts a mandible claw on him, Rock hits the people's elbow. Vince wakes up the ref, pulls him over. The Rock beats Kane to take the title from him. Basically, I keep it a simple, short run. And like I said, 2 runs here, basically. But this was what the Attitude Era was. It was simple, short little runs. As you can see, I had to rack up some wins against the luminaries of the time, Mankind, Austin, Undertaker, thus building Kane as a legitimate threat. So anytime that we see Kane in the main event, from there going forward, he's very believable that he can become the world champion again. We've already seen him win it twice. So that's how I would have booked his first run, and technically his first 2 runs. But I keep it, basically concurrent. This way, it keeps it on the trajectory where we have The Rock and Mankind, 2 newer guys, 2 guys that we're going to bank our future on, have been built into main event guys, all the while using the guys Austin, Undertaker, and Mankind, who are already established as main event guys at this point, and keeping that whole dichotomy there. We see the corporation building again, we see The Rock, Mankind, We see the loose connections with The Undertaker, which would lead eventually to the corporate ministry. So all of it sews back in here. It kind of makes it for, what I think would be a better way to use him and a better way to build him. I didn't really hate the way they did it, because it was the Attitude Era and that's what they did. But like I said, this was suggested by our friend Thomas Mueller, who wanted to see if I could do something better with it. And I don't know. You let me know what you think. Do you like the way they did it with the one-day run? Do you like my little mini run that I've made here that's basically about 6 months long? Do you think it could have been better? Let me know what you think. How would you have done it? How would you have made it where you built Kane better than what they did? Let me know what you think. Hit me up down here in the comments. Make sure you hit like and share. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ding that bell so you get notifications anytime a new video comes out. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this is how I would have booked Kane's 1998 WWF title run.